Hey, so let's talk about Kevin Samuels, what they both got wrong, and the divine feminine. So, some of you guys have seen the clip of Kevin Samuels. I don't know. I sort of do know why he showed up because I think my spirit guides have wanted me to see it. Like we're going to be talking about this. So, last year and a half, I've been 2 years really. My spirit guides have said, hey, you really need to connect more to the divine feminine and what that means. Okay. So, in connecting to the divine feminine, what that means, I've been on a little journey. So, there's, different aspects of the divine feminine. I like to say there's three aspects. There is the spiritual aspect of the divine feminine. There is the physical aspect of the divine feminine, and there's the relationship aspect of the divine feminine. I'm definitely on a journey for all of it. Hey, coach. Yeah, you're. I am back, and I took a swig of honey, so I might take some more. That's how it works on your throat. But yeah, so I was just saying how last 2 years my spirit guides were like, and even Oshun stepped forward, and I was literally doing meditations with her for 5-10 minutes a day, and she's like, we're just meditating, getting you in touch with your divine feminine. And the way my spirit guides work, if you listen to your spirit team, they always introduce topics to me because it is the topic that is going to be at hand relatively soon, right? So they always introduce things to me, and then I find out, oh, okay, we've already been doing this, right? So, message, always listen to your spirit. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Um, uh, so, those are the three aspects of the divine feminine. So, I found Kevin Samuels. I don't subscribe to him, so I'm pretty sure my spirit guides were like, you got to see this. And I saw two videos of his. And first off, let's just say they were both wrong. And that's what I want to go into. Oh, Coach Jimmy says she worked with Oshun before she helped me a lot. Yes, she was amazing. Tell me what she helped you with. For me, it was just deepening my connection to my womb, my femininity, and basically just making all these connections so I could be the woman I am today because we need that in our spiritual growth and evolution, right? So let's talk about this because it does go into the divine feminine. Kevin Samuels, right? Um, I'm just going to say energetically wise, very low vibrational, right? So he has a large following. His energy, his vibration level is very low. So the way he's going to see things, the amount of compassion or lacking of compassion, is very obvious that it is on a lower vibrational plane. I mean, how low? I don't know, pretty lower than mine. So way lower than mine. Way lower than yours if you're listening to me. So when he says, and he has a large following, and they're like, but he's right. To his followers, he is right for their level of awareness, spiritual growth, and spiritual and emotional maturity. So we just got to understand, he has a large following, but it is a very low vibrational place. I literally feel it, and I got to cleanse my energy just a little bit when I leave, right? So what she got wrong versus him. What the two women talked to him, and with one woman who she was like, I make six figures, I want a six-figure guy. I have a problem with that because just because they make money doesn't mean they're worth it. Because I dumped a six-figure narcissist, seven-figure narcissist, and took me about a couple months to realize, dang, you just string people along, don't you? But that's what she wanted. And he replied, you have a kid, you're only okay in the looks department, you're gonna die alone, and da 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 da. What's wrong with average? You shouldn't shoot that high. Divine feminine actually does have an answer to that, and so we're gonna get into it because what she did was ask a masculine man for masculine advice, which you would think makes sense, but the way so in the divine feminine journey, what I've learned is that we're attractors in the divine feminine. We attract, right? Now, there's different tools you can use to attract, but you don't have to go out and get a six-figure man. You can attract a six-figure man. So I have a video, if you saw it, and it was like what the divine feminine and magic taught me. And because I've really been tapping into the divine feminine because of my magic, I put into the universe what I want, and then I send out a broadcast signal in my different ways, and I wait for it to come to me. You can do the same thing with a partner. And so her asking a masculine man who gave very masculine advice, and it's low vibrational advice, not a higher elevated level of advice. She got what she got. And so if I knew her, what I would tell her is, I wish you, oh, hold on, honey. If I knew her, I'd tell her, you're going to the wrong resources, baby. Because he's going to tell you a very masculine way, and it's very low vibrational, not elevated. And I'm thinking you want someone who's a little bit more elevated in consciousness, elevated in compassion, elevated in character, elevated in emotional maturity, right? Because you can get a man at any monetary level, and if they're low vibrational, lacking emotional maturity, it does not matter. Because Jimmy says, I love being magical. Me too. Me too. That's why I don't stress. I'm just like, man, I'll just attract whatever I want to me. Right? So if this woman did want a 6-figure man, she needs to tap into her divine feminine energy. And that was not the person. He was a masculine energy, and he was a low vibrational, non-elevated, non-compassionate, non-emotionally mature or empathetic, low vibrational masculine energy. 1 second. Let me just take a little bit more. All right. So that's leading into what is the divine feminine and how that could have helped her. So instead of asking a low vibrational masculine energy how to attract a man, divine feminine is all about attracting a man. Part of the divine feminine is physical beauty, it is spiritual beauty, and then it is relationship beauty, right? And so spiritual beauty, you saw my videos, I was talking about how in my spiritual evolution, and I shared a book with you that really tapped me into my divine feminine on when it comes to spirituality, sitting back, observing, taking care of self, having compassion, having empathy, being a nurturing person, right? So that's the spiritual beauty of divine feminine. And I found that my relationships with men in the opposite sex are skyrocketed because I came from a place of watching, observing, not trying to direct. I came from a place of more compassion and understanding for any healing or wounds that they might be bringing into the picture. So just in general, that spiritual maturity is emotional maturity, which is an aspect of the divine feminine that is going to help you attract more men, right? Because the divine feminine energy is about attracting. Don't go ask a low vibrational masculine energy about doing that. There's also the physical aspect of it, right? So I'm more now so into the physical aspect of the divine feminine, which is doing the self-care, doing the beauty regimen. And I low key am using it as it is a powerful attractor, right? So doing the facials every day, doing my hair a little bit more, doing the makeup a little bit more, it is attracting. I'm strategically using it as an attraction tool as part of the divine feminine journey. Now, there is psychology behind it. Men and women love looking at pretty things. So it's funny when you tap into the physical aspect of the beauty of the divine feminine, and this works for men too who tap into their beauty as well, you literally make people feel good. And so when they feel good, they're going to make sure you feel good, right? And that is a power. It is a psychological, emotional, energetic power. So that's the second part of the divine feminine journey, to attract the men to you. So not only does my spiritual and emotional growth and being able to have more compassion and understanding and not force my ideology on men has helped increase my success and being able to attract and date, a wide variety. So I'll just be honest, I stay in boyfriends, dressed up or not, but that was because of my spiritual maturity and emotional maturity, which people can sense. But you add the physical, that is a second superpower to attract to attract the masculine energy as well. So that's why I was looking at her, going to this man for advice, and I was like, baby, you're going to the wrong place. You need to focus on your spiritual journey to be someone that people want to be around, because that will attract them. Your physical beauty was on point, but without the spiritual beauty for these women to have the confidence and esteem to accept and love themselves, because that's part of the divine feminine, and to be the person who attracts people because you care and you open your heart chakra and people can tell you care. Trust and believe men will love you just for that alone and without the physical beauty. Because I just started doing all this makeup BS. If you look at my past stuff, and I was attracting them anyways because of that emotional growth and maturity. So that was the second thing. So going to Kevin Samuels, not it. You need to learn to tap into your attractive power of the divine feminine. Yes, it very much is goddess energy. I have on you, I listen to affirmations at night, and I'm actually listening to these goddess affirmations. I recommend it, so it's on like while I'm sleeping, and that counts. Because if I don't do it, I notice a difference in the energy because you're programming your subconscious. So, yeah, so that was another aspect of it. But even in the relationship aspect, he was the worst because he was just like, oh, you got a kid? How cute are you? Oh, a high value man. So, first of all, I just want to say this is my own side piece. I only am around real estate investors. I've dated 6 figure, 7 figure, 5 figure men, okay? It does not matter how much money they make. They can be emotionally immature, they can be narcissists, okay? There are men who are shallow at 6 figures. There are men who are shallow at 5 figures. So I don't like this whole high value man. Just because a man makes 6 figures does not mean they have a high value, at least emotionally, spiritually, and be very low on the emotional intelligence. They can be very shallow, in which case, let them get what they get, right? Because they have their own issues too with their women that can end in drama. I know the 7 figure guy, real estate, he was a commercial broker I was dating, and what I'm talking to now, the one I'm talking to now is better though, but the one that I dated before, so hurt, right? Because he made the money, but the emotional intelligence was so low that like you see the issues and the hurts and the wounds that he was carrying over into when I was dating him for about 3 or 4 months. And you're like, wow, that just because you make 6 figure does not mean you have a high value because you need to work on yourself and your own hurts and the way that you can't see or value women as beings of light, right? So it was very interesting. So we need to really stop equating money with high value. Now, I make money, but I also have a high value because I've been working on myself. And I'm not going to be perfect, but every day I try to do better, right? Seek better, ask better. So it's not about how much money I have. Honestly, when I date, I honestly, as a Black woman or a woman in general, have to hide. I don't tell people how much money I make. So it just goes much more smoothly that way, right? So, yes, Coach Jimmy, they need healing too. So, high value to me is not about how much money you make. I'm sorry, it's about your emotional growth and maturity, your spiritual growth and maturity, your compassion, your empathy, your lack of being shallow, your knowingness of your purpose, your ability to heal yourself. Those are spiritual and emotional growth aspects that personally I think we all need to shift to. And that is part of the divine feminine as well. And so the third aspect is the relationship. Now, this is sort of funny because this is what I've been learning in this journey I've taken on attraction. So now we're going to go into story time. And I'm telling you this because some of you guys, if I didn't hear about this, so I'm thinking some of you guys didn't hear about it. I did do a workshop though on the introduction to channeling, and all the people who came were like very much in their divine feminine. So we were talking about this, about how they get things done and how they attract what they want. So some of us already have this down to a science, but other of us were not raised that way. So we have to learn this, right? Just like anything, it's a new skill to learn. Pardon me while I swig some honey, or so my throat gets a little bit more smooth. So yeah, I mean, date the 6 figure guy, date the 7 figure, but just understand money does not equate to treating you well or not well. It really doesn't. But you can attract the guy who can. Okay. Honey's so good for you anyways. I love honey. All right. So, divine feminine and relationship. Wow. So this has been tearing my head apart. So I just had a soulmate relationship. I've mentioned the soulmate and pretty of others just because it was so intense. But in learning about the relationship aspect of the divine feminine, and I'm going to get into submission versus following and like how that word is really skewed. But getting into it, I realized because of the unconditional love and the heart chakra being wide open, I was actually acting in that relationship and learning divine feminine relationship tools, right? Because it is something where when your partner, and I'm talking to women right now, but I think the men could appreciate this. When the men do something you don't like, instead of yelling at them, because my heart chakra was so wide open and there was so much love, I would never attack or get angry. Never. Not once. Doesn't mean I was always happy with the results, but I would go, hey, I need and want this, right? And so it wasn't about me telling him what to do. It was just so interesting because in every other relationship in the past, I'd be like, you need to change. You need to do this. I don't like this. So this was definitely over the last year and a half a learning lesson, and I'm learning that is the divine feminine way. Instead of attacking and trying to control an outcomes is the male way. The divine feminine way is to sit back, observe, and relax. Um, mm, Dark Kasia says there are three types. High value man has money. High quality man has morals, intellect, and character. Highly spiritual man has spiritual growth. Rapper, Future, Drake, Mayweather are high value men. Thank you, ma'am. And we really, really need to be clear about this because I'm going to tell you right now, you can be with people with money who can tear you up emotionally if you're not strong. Okay? I almost got a glimpse of it with a narcissist, a 7-figure narcissist. And I was like, oh my God. If I was not a strong woman, I would put up with this and I'd keep being strong along. But I am, and I knew sense of self, and I knew I wasn't happy. So I could leave, even though it was so addictive, because narcissism with money can be addictive. Like it literally is like you feel drawn to them. It's like magnetism. You got to be strong to get rid of that addiction. So thank you for that, Darkashia. But we really need to start talking about it. And so part of that in the divine feminine, so I'm learning about like instead of getting mad, just tell them what you need and you let them be the provider. And it was funny because with my soulmate, we broke up like a few times because I was like, I need this. He wouldn't give it. And so I broke it off. And then maybe a month or two later, he would come back, but he would provide what I told him I had needed provided. He would be a bigger person. There was growth and transformation. And in the divine feminine journey, you attract what you want, but you also allow room for not every man can step up and provide that to you. And if they can't, you got to let them go. So there is the divine feminine and the relationship aspect, which is don't attack, don't control. And there is a level of submission, but submission is a very funny thing because I'd asked my soulmate, do you think I'm an alpha female? And he was like, you are, but not with me. And it was true. So it wasn't that I was submissive to him, but it was definitely he was the lead and I was this follower. He didn't make as much money, but our relationship was not about money. And that's also another thing. Don't bring money or jobs into the relationship because the masculine energy is not into that. So honestly, I rarely talked about our work with him. I talked about our work with other colleagues. With him, it was just the emotion. It was just the expression of love. It was the quality time, acts of service. But it was funny, like in the divine feminine, which we have not been taught, it is about sitting back. It is not about controlling. It is about stating what you need with vulnerability. So I was always like, look, I want a man to provide and protect and da 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 da. And he wouldn't do it. And then we'd break up. Then he'd come back and he'd provide and protect. And I was like, okay, then it'd be something else. I told you it was tumultuous. That's what happens when there's unconditional love and control. But it did teach me a lot of divine feminine skills of not trying to control and just accepting, but letting someone go peacefully, if not. And so there's all these different things and tools I'm learning about relating with men now on the divine feminine relationship that I learned through my soulmate. And now that I'm dating again, and FYI, I just learned for women, we should never be boyfriend, girlfriend. This is divine feminine as well. You're a goddess on a pedestal, right? Until someone is ready to commit, you have all the options in the world. So guys do not like the idea of you dating other people. I know my Scorpio did not, but that is part of the divine feminine relationship aspect as well. Like opening yourself up, dating multiple people until a commitment. The girlfriend, boyfriend trap, all that does is just take you off the market while he plays around. But if you tell him, hey, if you want to step up for the commitment, you can. If he doesn't, well, you're keeping your option open. But what you're also doing is you're keeping yourself attracted to the masculine energy who's hyper competitive. Because I know my soulmate would always know if I was talking to another guy, even as friends. Like, they can feel it and sense it. Like we're talking energetic and power. And so when you do that, you keep yourself a mystery. You keep yourself a goddess. You keep yourself not easily obtainable. So now I'm going into the relationship aspect of the divine feminine. So 3 parts divine feminine. The spiritual divine feminine, how to observe, how to self-care, how to heal. Physical beauty of the divine feminine, how to pamper yourself in the beauty way. There's a reason we know about Nefertiti and her beauty regimen, right? That's a lesson for the power you can hold with it. And then the relationship aspect. How do you attract and not control? How do you sit back and do that? And so with that, there's so much more to this that I'm learning and I'm implementing that's been pretty amazing. I would highly recommend 2 YouTubers. to learn this. The first one is Adrienne Everhart. She is a divine masculine. She is a masculine woman who had to learn how to be divine feminine in her relationship. So she goes over, so her name's Adrienne Everhart. I'm gonna write her name. And she's really good. And she has all these trainings that are like $50, right? For how valuable they are, so worth it. So she goes in. So she's a masculine woman. She's like, I'm a go-getter. I'm charismatic. I get things done. I want things done a certain way, right? Definitely, I was there too. If I didn't have my soulmate relationship, I'd still be like that. But I just learned so much about just sitting back, not being able to control because I don't know. I guess I was just supposed to learn it. So it's just funny. Like I didn't expect it. It's just I was just completely acting different. And then I look back and realize, oh man, I really got like that was really a teaching tool. And she's really good, so I'd highly recommend her. The other person I recommend is MJ Harris, and he has a YouTube. And he is so great. He is a gay black man who is very much in his feminine energy. So he knows what men want. So that girl who went to Kevin Samuels, that's where she went wrong. He's low vibrational. He's not at a higher elevated level. He lacks compassion, lacks empathy. He's very shallow. And he's giving masculine advice, masculine superficial advice. And it was very much, just trying to tear people down. But MJ Harris, you listen to him, he will build you up, right? Because he's very much in his divine feminine. He talks about how he has compassion and how he understands generational hurts. And it was funny because he's so accurate. Him and Adrienne are like the same. And he's like, I had to lean into my feminine to get guys, but I am a guy, so I know it. So I would recommend those two to any women out there who are listening to Kevin Samuel. Stop. He's low vibrational. So unless you want to stay at a low vibration and get a low vibrational person, I would stop. But there is so much to learn about attraction, and he doesn't go into that because it's very masculine and superficial. But you need to learn how to attract what you want. Now, you add on top of that magic, because you see my crystal grids. So I get my 10 dates a month, right? Like I'm attracting my vibration, I'm attracting my men, not only with the physical aspect, not only with the spiritual aspect and the relationship aspect, but the magic aspect as well, which really takes me into the divine feminine. So that's what I wanted to say. It's a learning tool for all of us. Right now, the divine feminine is what it's about. I want you guys to learn from the right source, especially if you're women. And men, I want you to learn from the right sources because some of you guys don't have the best examples of a high vibrational manner in which to do it. So I hope that was helpful. Do you guys have any questions before I get out? I did my best with my voice. I'm going to have to do some energy healings. It was actually really worse, but I did a healing this morning that sort of took a lot of it out. So now it's just dry. All right, guys. I hope that helped. We're all on this journey together. So when I learn something new or my guides take me through something, I just want to share with people because I'm like, if I didn't know it, who else doesn't? All right. Love talking to you, Coach Tim B. I hope this was helpful and that you got anything out of it. So post below your journey into the divine feminine and where it's taking you.